The following program does not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Afternoon and welcome to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts Fred and Janet Cox right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board right now, send us an email. Our email address is liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your host of the Liquid Green Health Show, Fred Cox.
Okay, and welcome to the Liquid Green Health Show. It's December the 4th, 2022. My name is Fred Cox. It's 5:30 p.m. My co-host is Janet Cox, and today is Sunday, as I said before, December the 4th. Welcome to our listeners in Toronto, across Canada, the United States, and around the world. Thank you for allowing us into your private space. Welcome to the Liquid Green Health Show. Today's show is sponsored by Liquid Green Products, and we are producers of Eco Superior Green Cleaning Products for your home, office, your car, pets. Pay us a visit at liquidgreenproducts.com and choose any product that you would like to have, and we will gladly ship it to you. If you want to catch us, catch any of our past broadcasts, we are on Spotify. Whether or not you have a subscription, just type in Liquid Green Health Show. On YouTube, do the same, Liquid Green Health Show. Hit like, share, comment, subscribe, hit all of those buttons. It will give us a boost. You can also check us out on Facebook at Liquid Green Products, Inc. This broadcast, today we're using technology. It's pre-recorded, but you can still write in. Let us know where you're listening from. Write us at liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com. Please let us know where you're listening from. We'd love to have your questions, your comments. Please keep them coming. Today's broadcast, like all of our broadcasts, is for education and entertainment purposes only, designed to stimulate the mind and help bring us one step closer to living a healthier lifestyle.
And, you know, we said we're pre-recording this week, and that's because a very good longtime friend, older gentleman, we are going to be at his memorial.
Yeah, that's
so it was worth it, and you know that can't be changed. So good thing we have the flexibility with our
technology,
producers.
man. Technology, right? We're using it.
Yes,
we're using it.
And also our guest was also willing to do pre-record, although I'm sure, you know, when we're live, it's so much more authentic. Yeah. Not necessarily, right?
It's a lot more fun.
But I also want to say something, Frederick. It's been almost a year. Like it's so quickly. I can't believe the time is going by so quickly.
Yeah.
And you know, we have grown, and I just really want to thank our listeners. Every single week we have added new listeners.
We have grown.
And it's not amazing. Because of you.
It's my good looks. My good looks. They're coming back to see me.
Yeah. But then most people are listening, so they can't see you anyway, right?
We'll tell them where to find us.
But we really appreciate the fact that you take the time, because, you know, you could be anywhere else.
Yeah.
And a Sunday afternoon, now it's even getting dark.
And it's usually, and it's usually dinner time for a lot of our listeners.
Time.
So we really appreciate the fact that they could take the time out to invite us into their space and listen to the information that we have to give. It's been a wonderful journey, and you know, we're looking forward to many, many more weekends like this that we can spend.
Second week in January, that's going to be our anniversary. We're going to have to plan something big.
Okay. All right.
Probably we'll get every single guest we ever had on. Okay, but I don't
Okay,
know.
we
We'll
have a
think of
wonderful
something.
guest today. Our guest is all the way over across the Atlantic, and he is comfortably sitting in his office in Jamaica. And we thought we've heard him before, we've listened to him a couple of times, and we thought this would be the perfect fit for the type of shows that we are putting on and the perfect type of information for our listeners.
Just before Christmas, that's when the big feasts come on,
The
right?
gastronomic feasts are on. The gastronomic feasts are on.
Yes,
so we have to let people know that what you're eating, is it good? What happens when it gets into that area, and how you can, maintain that area. So today we are talking about gut biome. If you're not familiar with the term, if you're hearing it for the first time, well, our guest, Dr. Clive Campbell, is the perfect person to explain exactly what is the gut biome.
He's an advocate of the gut biome.
He's
and
a
that's,
health enthusiast.
when the gut biome has an advocate, right?
Dr. Clive Campbell is a health enthusiast who promotes the importance of optimum gut health by focusing on the gut biome. He works diligently in promoting school and community feeding programs, and he's also a public speaker and host of several radio and internet and TV programs. So today, folks, we have a gut feeling that you will appreciate the wealth of information that Dr. Clive Harris will be sharing with us.
Clive Campbell.
Oh, sorry, Clive Campbell.
Clive.
We have a friend by the name of Clive Harris.
And he was on a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And he keeps saying Clive
and that name
Harris
keeps coming up all the time.
But and you also, it's the microbiome.
It's the microbiome.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah. See, I didn't get it right the first time, but that's it's good to have a co-host that can correct you once in a while. So thank you for joining us, Dr. Campbell. It's a pleasure to have you. I know that you are a busy person, and we really appreciate the fact that you're taking time out to discuss this ever so important topic that a lot of people are not aware of. And so I would let you grace our airwaves with your knowledge.
Great.
Okay. I thank you so much, Sir Fred and Lady Janet, for allowing me to be on your show, be in this space. I am an advocate, as you said, for the gut microbiome, because I believe it is the missing piece in the jigsaw puzzle of our health. And I hope and pray that as we interact this evening, you will find the conversation most meaningful.
Riveting, I'm sure. Now, I want to send a special thank you out to my friend Janet, another Janet Lumley, because it's through Janet and her show, this was several months ago, that I happened to hear you talk for the first time.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I jotted down your name since then.
Yeah.
And I was able to ask her, we want to do a show on this. Who's the expert that you know? And she said, definitely. She gave me your contact, and here we are.
So you've been on the Liquid Green Health Show for a long time.
For a long time.
Thank you so much. You're kind.
So our listeners, I'm sure we're going to have emails after the fact. So probably we'll have to bring you on again to answer some of those emails.
Okay.
Because we're pre-recording, we won't have their emails.
Yeah.
But we do want to go through, which is actually, we'll have more time to talk with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but before you start, let me once again remind our listeners that they can still sending the email to liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com, and we will answer your emails.
Right.
So
at the next show.
The next show. So
the
feel free to write in.
So from what I understand is that the whole studying of the gene sequencing, the whole human gene, the mapping, it's relatively recent. It's only been the last 15 years, I believe, that they've adequately, or 15, probably 20, I'm not sure. But from what I know that you talk about, we had, from the beginning, we had this battle with bacteria. Historically,
Yeah.
we've had a battle with bacteria.
I mean, up to now, they're still trying to kill 99.9%.
Yes, ever cleaning products.
Every
and
cleaning
still
99.9% for the
So
bacteria.
what is actually wrong with this picture? And I know we listened to you on this before, so share with us what's wrong. Why should we not treat bacteria as our enemy?
Because bacteria is our friend.
Mhm.
We have never had a more committed friend than our microbes. We may not understand them. And what we realize in life, you abuse what you don't understand. Bacteria, which is part of the microbiome, is given to us as a gift from our creator. Because we are going to live on a planet of microbes, we need to be chaperoned by microbes, in particular bacteria that dominate the amount of microbes that are on the planet. So it is wrong for you to bite the hand that feeds you. It is interesting to note that your own mother's microbiome was making compounds to ensure that your brain developed properly in your mother's womb. So they supervised your growth and development of the most intriguing organs, important organs, and to ensure that your body grows properly. That's the microbiome.
Yes, and you know,
yeah.
in a question that you mentioned mothers,
Yes.
apparently there's a big difference with a baby who's born vaginally than a baby who's born through C-section
Yes.
because of the lack of microbiomes and the transfer of birth.
Yes.
What's happening there? Why is that? I think
When a
that's
child takes a
saying.
detour and is born via C-section, that child does not get the generational bacteria handed down from great grandmother, for example, to mother, etc. So you do not get a generational bacteria. When a person is born, a child is born C-section, the most dominant bacteria that child tend to have are the bacteria of the skin. As the child lays on the mother's body to be breastfed. So your child is dominated by the bacteria of the skin or the environment in which the operating theater is, or the bacteria on the garment of that tending surgeon.
Wow.
But it's very limited. What is also dangerous is that oftentimes that baby is given a precautionary antibiotic. So the handicapped microbiome that the child got is further decimated by antibiotics, and that child is going to grow in an environment in which they are likely to become sickly. And from research, most children who are born C-section are the ones that tend to grow up becoming type 1 diabetics, children with asthma, children who are autistic, and children who are food sensitivities, allergies, and later on in life becomes candidate for the autoimmune diseases like lupus.
So
Okay.
let me just back up on what you just said. A child that did not pass through the vaginal canal,
yes, the birth canal,
does not get all of the generational bacteria that is needed, or get just some of it?
Yeah, they get some of it.
They get some of it. Okay.
Yes, small part of it.
I have a situation. I have two children. I guess we have two children. And the first one, my daughter Kira, she was born absolutely vaginal, normal, no problem, no, nothing. The second one, my son, Kofi, he was actually, this is so unusual because usually it's, the second one is easier, but he was quite a lazy baby, and
he still is lazy.
And he actually, they said, you know what, at some point, too much stress on the baby, we're going to take him C-section. I'm still upset with him. But growing up, my daughter is the one that has allergies. He has nothing. Yeah. He's eating the pizza and the bad food, and he's fine. So if we were to buck the theory this sounds like it's the exact opposite of what you're saying. But anyway, that's, I know there's always, who knows what happens later, but you know, in our family, it's
Yes.
just reversed.
What many doctors are doing in some jurisdictions is to find a way to use a gauze to get the vaginal fluid from the mother and smother it over the child's face, chest, upper arm, and so on. And that child usually live a near normal life. But in everything, there are always exceptions, and we can't explain that.
Right.
But the persons who tend to be child, type 1 diabetic and who have allergies and asthma and so on, usually have a compromised gut microbiome.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know we should just probably let you talk, but I know the microbiome has to do with so many things that affect us. Weight loss, weight gain. Is this also, is this from the beginning where we're talking about from the mom? Is this one of the things that's passed down, or is it strictly environmental?
Yeah, it's a combination of factors. Everybody has a unique gut microbiome. And for the sake of the listeners, when we refer to the microbiome, we are talking about the composition of bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoa, archaea, and even parasites. A lot of those words you may not know, but they are new to us, but those are the words they use in the medical system. These are the things that medical science are paying a lot of attention to, because they realize that as humans, we cannot survive on our own. We need these microbes in order to live. And as you mentioned, they play a role in all the important areas of our lives. In terms of maintaining weight, they determine whether type of microbes you have in your gut, determines if you're fat or if you're slim. It determines a lot of the conditions that you may have in terms of whether you live a life that is sickly or a life of health. And in terms of even your mood, because microbes determine your very mood by the what they make in terms of the hormone serotonin.
Right.
So when 95% of your mood hormone is made by a bacteria, you can't take those guys lightly.
Right.
And any chemical your brain can make, your gut microbes make them. But let me just give a little perspective. The human body, we are told, have about 10 trillion cells, trillion with a T. We have approximately 10 times the amount of microbes for every human cell. So we have 100 trillion microbial cells.
Wow.
That is not small.
Right.
When it comes to genetic makeup, based upon the Human Genome Project and the Human Microbiome Project, we are learning that 99.9% of the genetic expression going on in your body right now to keep every human being alive is not being done by human. It's been done by the non-human side of us. 6 pounds of microscopic organisms. So humans have 22,500 human genes. Microbes have anywhere from 3 million to 9 million genes. So what makes us human ain't even human.
That's amazing.
So what is it that actually, what should we, our listeners, listening to you, and already I am wowed, because it sounds like you're talking about the universe and the stars. These are things that are incomprehensible, that we can't even imagine how, in terms of size, right? But we know so many people, friends, irritable bowel syndrome, diabetes, cancer, etc. Are you saying that most of these things can be attributed to our gut?
Most definitely. In terms of giving an idea, 40% of the total amount of microbes in your body lives inside of your colon, which we call the distal gut. 39 trillion microscopic organisms. Modern science is telling us that these 39 trillion microscopic organisms, they have formed themselves into an organ that lives inside of your colon. Joshua Liedenberg, a Nobel Prize laureate, called those 39 trillion microbes the microbiome, the gut microbiome.
What's his name?
Joshua Liedenberg.
Liedenberg.
Yes.
I know everybody. I know when I listen, I like to get the
Yes.
name so we can Google it later. Okay.
He's the one that first called them the microbiome. And since then, the medical fraternity and the research fraternity has used that name to refer to both the cells and the genetic makeup of the microbiome. Now, that microbiome is also given a nickname. Are you ready for this? It is called the second brain.
Right. Oh, we've heard that term. Right.
The
We've
second
heard
Second brain.
Oh, the
Yeah.
second brain.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine you have a brain living inside of your gut
Yeah.
that we did not know? What is interesting? The brain in your gut weighs 3 pounds.
Mhm.
Brain in your skull weighs 3 pounds.
Oh, wow.
What
Okay.
is 100 billion neurons?
Mhm.
So what we're learning, it takes at least 6 pounds of brain to run the human body, and we did not know.
We
And
didn't
of
know.
all the places to have a brain is inside of your gut. But then it is logical to have a brain there. It has 500 million neurons
Mhm.
attributed to the entire length of the gastrointestinal tract. So it has its own nervous system. It communicates with the brain every nanosecond of the day to inform the brain and to instruct the brain so it might know which hormones to make so that the body may remain balanced.
Now,
So,
we talk about the gut feeling, like we said
yes.
in our intro, the gut feeling,
Mhm.
which is what something we attribute. You have a gut feeling, but it's
Right.
really intuitive from the brain, right?
That's what you feel in the gut. When
Right.
somebody hears the bad news, they
Mhm.
hold on to their gut. The mother heard that her son got shot.
Yeah.
She
Yes,
hold on to her gut. And that,
exactly.
e- even the Bible talk about not shutting up your bowels of compassion.
Okay.
Okay.
So a
See,
lot of feelings are inside of your gut.
he has this. He has a strong intuition,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know. It comes from, I don't know, spiritually, brain, I don't know. But again, as you say, so what if we were severed? Is there any possibility, brain and gut? Why do we have the problems? Is it because there is disconnection between the two?
What
And if we
problems?
do have problems, like the
Mhm.
medical problems that we talked about, some of the things you addressed,
Mhm.
are any of these things reversible? Like, how doomed are we if you find out, oh my God, you have a leaky gut?
So the gut becomes damaged.
Mhm.
As long as you're living in the Western world,
Yeah.
you can consider that you have a damaged gut.
Wow.
Damage meaning that content of your gut, the sewer system, is leaking into your blood
And why is that so?
because several factors. It may be because of the use of antibiotics, medication, poor dietary choices, sugar, blue lights, and lack of sleep, lack of exercise, and several factors of that nature can cause your gut to become what you call dysbiotic. So what is happening is that you have what you might want to call good bacteria and bad bacteria. The good bacteria is there to maintain balance and integrity of your gut and your body. According to how you're eating, how much medication and antibiotics you have exposed your gut to, it is causing a total decimation of the good bacteria. So when you take an antibiotic, for example, it kills off every bacteria. The hardy ones, which are the bad ones, tend to grow back. Similar to if you were to clear a piece of land to plant, say, callaloo, and you get a call to go to Europe for 6 months. When you return, what will be growing on that piece of land?
Bush, a
Oh,
whole lot of weeds,
Not
right?
callaloo. Same thing happens in the gut. The weeds are taken over.
The hardy
And
ones come back.
when you eat food with fiber, the good bacteria makes good things from it, like your medicine, your food, and so on. But your bad bacteria, they make gas and they make bad things from the same fiber that you're eating.
Is this methane gas or hydro?
I mean, the same thing that we call, as Jamaicans, we call it gas. That
Okay.
meaning that you belching, burping, and that sort of activity. So just in that the gut is
Okay.
dysbiotic, it's damaged, it's not working properly.
Even
And
vegans? Is that even for vegans? People who've been eating their whole life, vegans?
Raw
Is that the
food.
same?
no, because you're eating the food that the bacteria like. Therefore, you are what you eat, you become.
Mhm.
If you are providing a diet made of fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, and nuts, then you're attracting the good bacteria. If you eat a diet primarily based upon things you buy from the supermarket or fast food, processed food, you're attracting bacteria that will dominate your gut, which are the bad bacteria. They like those stuff. So what you eat, you become. So you have to be careful what you eat because you're attracting the bacteria that you don't like them, you don't want the bad ones there, but how you're eating, where bones are not provided,
Yes.
dogs are not invited.
Right. And we know the food, I mean, the supermarkets is a smorgasbord of food.
What they say for the
So-
supermarkets, Frederick, is that you must shop the corners. Like our supermarket,
Yeah.
the real food, the whole food is on the walls, and everything in the center, the packaged goods, you know, the bad foods,
The poisons.
the poisons are, you shouldn't be shopping there, right?
So
But sorry, you were saying.
yeah, I wanted to touch on medication. When a person takes a lot of medication, and there are millions of people out there that is on medication, and they're doing that for a long time, how does that affect the gut biome?
And before you answer that, I also want you to, I don't know if you know, but why is it that the medical profession spends so little time on the nutrition, which seems to be the answer to most of our ailments?
Because they don't
So
know.
it's a two-pronged question.
Okay, so your microbiome, the 39 trillion microbes in your gut, represents your internal pharmacy.
Okay.
They are capable of making any and every chemical to keep your body going, because bacteria are makers of chemicals.
Okay.
When you expose your body to external forces and chemicals, it creates dysbiosis or imbalance, chaos, and confusion. And also, it damages the microbes because they are usually harmful to your microbes. So that is one of the main things why medication that is synthetic is not beneficial to the gut microbiome.
That's why
we have to feed them.
That's why you get so many side effects.
Yes,
right.
Because it is contrary to what your body wants to do. Okay. So the second part of the question, Lady Janet, what was that you answered?
It was why does the the universities, the people where doctors go to study, why don't they pay more attention? Like, this is 2022, isn't this now a known fact? And so why is there still not enough attention being paid to
I'll be kind and say it this way. Dr. Michael Greger laments that it takes an average of 17 years for amazing medical discoveries to become a part of daily clinical practices.
Oh, wow.
That's almost a whole generation.
Yes, so I rather say it that way than to say it the most obvious way, which I think you're reading between the lines.
And in other words, a generation has to die before they come.
Or there's just not enough money in telling people about food.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
yeah. In other quarters, I've heard persons said that a healthy person is of no benefit to the medical system.
No.
So you read between the lines.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but countries like you said in the Western world, what about countries like in some of the European countries like the Mediterranean? We hear about the Mediterranean diet. Is that really working?
That's more like out of Asia and the Orient.
No, Mediterranean meaning like the Greeks and the Italians, olive oil and.
No, but the Asians and the Japanese, they have pretty good diets as well, more so than North American diets.
When you begin to add the fast food restaurants
To the world.
and certain practices, you are going to be eating a diet that is non-beneficial to the microbes.
Right.
So you're inviting problems. When you are a part of a humble culture that has been eating from your child things that are from the sea, things that you plant, things that your family plants and grow, then you know that you're in right hand. Now, when you, for example, someone is eating a burger, a combination of several cows may be in that burger. They are eating chicken that is no longer taking weeks to grow, but is almost growing overnight.
Okay.
And they are pumped up with all kind of different chemicals and toxins and growth factors. And
Right.
when you are eating those things, those same chemicals get into the body and creates imbalance and dysbiosis inside of the body and causes damage. So we have to be careful how we eat, because not everything you put in your mouth you can classify it as food. We are
True.
using our teeth to dig our grave. And in Jamaica, the parlance is, but sweet nanny goat, the grandma would say that, not because it is pleasant to the taste bud, means that it is beneficial to the body. Bob
No.
Marley's word, your belly full,
Okay, good.
but you're still hungry.
Let me just take a minute to
Remind
inform
our
our listeners, remind our listeners that you're listening to the Liquid Green Health Show. If you're joining us for the first time or you joining us late, this is the Liquid Green Health Show on Reality Radio 101. And our guest today is Dr. Clive Campbell, and our topic is the gut microbiome.
And also that this is a pre-recorded show this week, our first one.
Yes.
And right?
Yeah,
So,
you can still write in to us. You can rather send us your emails at liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com, and we will respond to your email, and we'll read them at a later show. So feel free to drop us a line, let us know where you're listening from, and we certainly will respond.
Yes, and we're also we'll get your information. We'll probably add you on our website so people will know how to find you later, because we always get the questions and search for answers. So, Dr. Campbell, I know you're traveling soon to actually solidify this doctorate, so I want to congratulate you on that. And as we listened to you on the last show we listened to, you talked about 3 M's: the metabolites, the microbiome, and the mitochondria.
Yes.
Could you explain why these 3 M's are so important to our listeners?
Okay, so let me start with the microbiome. Microbiome represents the microbial population inside of your body, the microbial version of you on this planet. It is not small. And so the microbiome does certain things in your body that as humans we can't do for ourselves. So they chaperone us on this planet. I wish I had time to explain what I just meant. So that's a microbiome, the microbial population. Now, the mitochondria sounds quite similar to microbiome. The mitochondria represents the energy producing section of the cells in your body. This is where energy is produced by your mitochondria. They take glucose and oxygen and makes ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and it's a currency of energy for every cell inside of your body. That mitochondria does not only make your energy, the mitochondria is what controls the communication within the cell. They produce certain amount of information and store it even within the nucleus in the cell. It is the only organelle within the cell that has its own nucleus. Those of us in medical science are now realizing that the mitochondria is more bacterial in function than it is human. And they call it ancient bacteria. So the ancient bacteria depends on the modern bacteria, the microbiome, for food, for stimulation, and for energy stimulation, in that it provides metabolites. Now, that metabolite now is what bacteria does. When they give it fiber, it breaks it down and ferments it. and makes these metabolites like short chain fatty acids, butyrate, acetate, and propionate.
Okay.
It also makes
Lesson here.
lactate
That's
also, and the urolithin A. It makes urolithin from like berries and from nuts and things of that nature. And then it uses that now to help to clean up the mitochondria and to help to maintain it so that you have the right amount of mitochondria for the cell. Now, the average cell in the body has 300 to 600 mitochondria. But the skeletal muscle cells may have 2,600 mitochondria per cell, and the cardiac cells, the heart, may have 2,600 to 3,000. So according to the activity of the cell, it needs it. Now, someone with heart cells that may not have as many mitochondria, you might have mitochondrial dysfunction, become damaged because of free radical activity and several other things. Your heart may not be as strong as someone who has maintained 2,600 to 3,000 mitochondria per cell. So some person's heart may be failing. Good news is you can restore your mitochondrial population and your heart cells can become healthy again and your heart can beat strong again. That's an example. Same thing for the liver, same thing for the pancreas.
Okay.
So that means we don't need to die of all of these maladies.
We don't need to. The sad thing about the medical system, it puts you on a path and the report keep on getting progressively worse. Stage one becomes stage 2.
Okay, I think we just had a technical.
Okay, it's your Clive.
Yes,
you're freezing up.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
freezing up.
Okay, I don't know. Oh.
Okay, just repeat what you were about to say because we lost you for a minute.
Yeah, my question was, we don't need to die from these.
No. And I was mentioning that the medical system hardly seems to have a method of reversing a condition when it becomes bad. Stage 1 becomes stage 2, progresses stage 3, stage 4, end stage, and they send you home to die.
Yeah.
What we are learning is
that they employ the three best known procedures that they can employ: cut, burn, or poison.
Yes. But your body was made to repair, to reverse, recover, and restore.
Yeah.
With nutrition, you can do that.
But how far gone? If somebody's really far gone, is it not impossible?
Well, we have heard
stage 3 or stage 4 cancer of the pancreas. Isn't that too late? They usually give you up 2 months to live.
If the person is still breathing, there's always hope.
Okay, and that's not just said with a divinity spiritually. That's actually science. That's practical.
Yeah, as long as you give the body nutrition, no matter what stage they're at, the body is going to react to that good nutrition that you're giving it.
Yeah, so it's possible. We're not telling that is always the case, but a lot of persons told by their primary care provider, go home, make it right with God and your family, and prepare to die within X amount of time.
Yeah.
The person did not die in that 3-month period. They survive 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and go back to look for their doctor and heard that the doctor's long died.
I know if we had the emails, we'd be getting a joke on this. We'd be getting some joke on this.
So do not write off someone who is still alive and a God that we can pray to.
Okay, I want to ask you a question about myself.
Yes.
I love food. We love food. Actually, I think I eat more than Frederick does. And no comment. I love all kinds of food. I love my steak. We don't have it a lot. We know enough now. We're doing a health show. We've heard enough. We've done the research. We know you shouldn't be eating meat. But I don't want to give up anything. I don't mind doing everything in moderation, cutting down drastically where we have to cut down. exercise. We just started back at the gym. Like we used to walk. I swim in Jamaica, but
Yes.
we just started back with our gym routine. So we know the importance of the exercise. We take supplements. We think we're doing all the right things.
Mhm.
But can't you still enjoy some of the things you enjoy? Do you have to give up everything to be healthy?
Well, we don't say that you have to give up, but
Mhm.
it's just to become aware
Okay.
that you become what you eat. And what we say to folks, don't just eat for the human self. So, for
Okay.
example, if you go to a restaurant, do
Mhm.
not look at the menu and place an order only because of the human taste buds.
Okay.
Place the order also bearing in mind that you're an ecosystem and not just a human being. So place part of the order for your microbiome that all your cells in your body are happy. So become a team player. Don't
Okay.
just eat for the star on the team.
All right.
Eat
Okay.
for the little guys who don't have a bigger name as you, but plays an important role in
So
making
how
the
about,
team succeed.
so can we have a small steak and a big salad? Does that help?
You can do that because I don't say to people who work hard for their money, you can't eat certain things, but
Mm.
I just tell you the preferences of your friends. Steak and meat and poultry, etc., does not contain fiber.
Right.
If you give your microbiome fiber, they are happy. So, for
Mhm.
example, I'll just give you the facts. I don't tell you what to do.
Mhm.
When you eat meat, the bacteria in your gut converts the protein in the meat into trimethylamine, TMA. When it gets to the liver converts TMA into TMAO, trimethylamine oxide. That becomes dangerous to your blood vessels, to your heart, to your brain. So you can decide if you want to eat a small amount of poison or a lot of poison. The choice is yours.
But
Okay, but
let me just stick a pin there.
oh
Is
God,
is
that
is it
doesn't
the
help me.
meat or is it the quality of meat that we're eating? Because
Back in the
there's
day.
grass fed, and I mean the cow that eats grass is eating medicine. The cow that eats the processed food that is given to most of the cattle here in North America is a totally different
Mhm.
animal that you're eating.
But all right. So we have to speak for what most of the people consume. Who is going out looking for grass? Is your meat grass fed? Who asks those questions?
Well,
But
they
it's
say
it's,
it. They
it's,
Two
say
it's,
it.
percent, 2% of the population. So,
Yeah.
okay.
so we don't talk in terms of the exception. We talk in
Okay.
terms of the norm. Normally, people don't go to the supermarket and ask those things.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
But those who are
Unless
more
they listen to the
conscious,
unless they
Yes.
listen to the liquid green.
yes, you are more conscious, then
Yes.
you know how to ask certain questions when you
Okay.
go certain places and just avoid some places.
Yeah. So I'm going to
Sorry.
come back to it because, okay, if you eat a small amount of meat or a lobster or something, but you eat the rest of your day, the rest of your diet, you're doing the nuts, you're doing the good fats, you're doing your fatty acids that we talked about last week, right?
The omega
The
threes and stuff.
omega
Yeah.
3s, you're taking in a lot of fiber. Your fruits, you're eating 5, 6 different kinds of fruits a day. Is it still a problem?
Well, you can eat it. I don't have a problem with you eating it. It's just you now must need to know how to balance it and to know what you're eating if you are really feeding all the cells in your body. And the truth be told, if you do not feed your friends, the microbiome, they feed on you.
Right.
So you must know if you can create a balance and to eat in right proportions.
What
Not
about some wine?
red
Because
wine
wine
has
does too.
resveratrol,
Yeah.
resveratrol, as long as the alcohol content, because alcohol is damaging to your microbiome. But the grape content, the resveratrol, is very beneficial to the human body.
I want to get to a topic that you mentioned in the last show that we were looking at, and there were the 3 I's: irritability, inflammation, and
Infection.
infection. Yeah. Could you elaborate on that?
Oftentimes, we do things that irritate the microbiome inside of our gut, cause damage to them. When you do not have keystone species of bacteria in your gut, then you don't have the bacteria to maintain the integrity of your gut lining, epithelial cells.
Okay.
Because of that, the bacteria eat away at the mucosal lining, that where the bacteria lives. They eat away at it, get closer to the one cell thick epithelial layer, and begin to eat away at the tight junction, and content of your gut begin to get into your body.
That's a leaky gut.
That's a leaky gut. So irritation leads to inflammation. When the gut leaks, the immune system gets into a tizzy because undigested food particles, bacteria dead and alive, toxins and chemicals begin to get into the blood, and it launches an attack, autoimmune, and it creates a chronic inflammation.
Okay.
And the inflammation leads to infection, because inflammation is characterized by swelling. When your organs swell, they crush into each other and damage each other and causes infection, because organs have a certain confined space. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Inflammation in the blood leads to inflammation in the brain, because these toxins cross the blood-brain barrier and the brain becomes inflamed. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, schizophrenia, MS, autism. Then you have the neurological disorders of anxiety, depression, sadness. These are not things that you go to the brain to fix based upon modern medical approaches. You go to the brain, the gut rather, to fix it, because it is a gut that is out of balance that has now caused the brain to be out of balance.
Now, you said the whole gastrointestinal system, it starts from our mouth.
Yes.
It's from our mouth to our anus, or
Right.
to the
32 feet of it, that's right.
32 feet, right?
They call it the gut, yes.
Right. What does teeth have to do with any of this? Does our teeth, is that connected or not? Or saliva?
Well, the oral, there's a discussion, bigger discussion, the oral microbiome, as we understand that each tooth has its own microbiome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, each tooth has its own microbiome. And when we have to be careful what we use in terms of what we use to clean our mouth, our toothpaste, our mouth rinses. Some of them are very toxic to the bacteria in your mouth. When you damage the oral microbiome, it can cause problems, because you find out that the microbes can get into your blood from the mouth, the bad bacteria from the mouth, and gets into the blood and cause problems in your heart.
Right.
Wow.
We've heard that.
Very careful.
We want to bring on a dentist to talk about the whole thing about the oral hygiene. But coming back to we hear about the problems. We know the good things that the microbiome does. But if we do have a problem, I was listening to a gentleman on one of the TED Talks, and he said it was so bad. I forget the name of the disease he had, one of the long name things, but he said it was as if he had intense diarrhea 15 times a day. That's how bad he was.
Wow.
Couldn't eat. Everything he ate, it was inflamed, leaking all over. And he ended up with one of the newer things in medicine for this is the fecal microbiota transplant.
Yes.
Can you tell our audience what this is and why it works?
Quite likely the person you're referring to had what is called Clostridium difficile. The name of the bacteria is the name of the condition. Oftentimes when the person has that infection, doctors give them antibiotics.
Right.
So much antibiotic, it totally decimates all the microbes from the gut, wipe out your microbiome. That person would die from constant diarrhea. And they would be in the hospital for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and it would eventually die. 90% of those persons would die.
Wow.
Someone suggested, and that must have been revolutionary. Why not give this person fecal microbial transplant. Just as you're thinking, it is feces from a healthier person. Not directly, but they know to make it into a stew, so to speak.
Right.
Okay, hold it. Say that again, please.
It's a poop transfer.
Yeah, the transporting. Because, you know, the microbiome, like every other organ, can become damaged and it can be transplanted.
Yes, it's true.
So they're
So look at it as a transplant from of microbiome from one person to another person.
But that's poop.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if they go through a sewage, they cleanse it, and so it becomes liquid, and then they can put it in.
They normally they test it to
It's
ensure they test the poop to ensure that it doesn't have any damaging microbes in it, and it doesn't have certain toxins in it, and it is therefore ready to be transplanted to someone else.
Wow.
And they do that, and 90% of the people that would have died live.
Right.
And guess what? Persons who were in hospital for say 2 years, in 72 hours, they get better and they can go home. Fecal microbial, FMT.
That is very similar to like a stem cell transplant.
Well, you might want to say that.
Okay.
Because guess what? 60% of your stool is made up of microbes.
Live and dead, right? There are some good ones in the stool.
Yeah, quite a few of them are alive. Because guess what? Microbes does everything for us. They live in our brain. They allow the logs to go down the river. And then they even take out your waste. We don't even know how to do that. They determine how much liquid is left in it. If too much liquid is left in it, it's diarrhea. If too little, it's constipation.
You know,
yes.
It's funny, not to interrupt you, doctor, but it's funny you're saying this, because just today we were talking about the internal system. It's like a community.
Everything
it has every single thing.
It's like a factory. It's like a world. It's like an ecosystem, as you say.
Yeah,
right?
and then you have you know, cells that will take care of the garbage, and they put it aside, and then next morning you just dump it. Right? It's like us putting out our garbage, and then the garbage guy comes, picks it up, and so it's a whole community inside of us.
I have a pressing question that I really want to ask you. I know you won't have time to go through it, but it's all about vaccines. And I'm not talking necessarily about the last set of vaccines we had and COVID, but vaccines, period. And just what effect, I know we look at, what did you mention, the antibiotics, and how that can destroy the biome, the biome. Can this happen with vaccines or not?
Vaccines, generally speaking, and can cause disturbance of your immune system. When you disturb your immune system, you disturb your microbiome, because it is your microbiome that represents the eyes and the ears of your immune system. They are the ones that train your immune system from you were 1 day old until you become an adult. So they train you how to identify good bacteria from bad bacteria, which cells are your enemy, which ones are your friend. And that is what the microbiome does for the immune system. So if the microbiome is damaged, consider that your immune system is damaged and compromised. To get your immune system to be strong, you have to get your microbiome to be strong again. And therefore, you have to change your diet, and you have to be careful how many toxins you allow, how many drugs you allow to get into your body, because your body is self-contained and is able to heal itself without external intervention. All you have to do is to give it real food, and bacteria knows how to make your medicine, how to make your food, how to protect you, and how to cause you to live long and protect your mitochondria to give you the energy that you need to have a vibrant life, and protect your brain so that your brain won't be sprained.
So that is the essence of man, know thyself.
Yes. Fred, we have about 6 minutes left, but I want to throw in one more question. Our observation with children. We live in North America where everything is squeaky clean. And I go to Jamaica and I see my little nephew, and he's playing in the dirt, and he's, you know, he has the water running and he's making puddles and he's doing all sorts of things, where the typical North American parent would say, get out of the dirt, that's not clean, don't touch this, don't wear your shoes in the house, all of those things. What's the benefit here and what's the disadvantage?
Okay, so I say it this way from a study that was done in
Mhm.
England.
Yeah.
That the children from more affluent society
Mhm.
tend to become more sickly than the children that were not from the affluent society. Because the one from the affluent society live in a squeaky clean environment, while children are playing in the dirt, the toy is in their mouth and everything like that, and they are exposed to bacterial diversity.
Mm.
So
Right.
we encourage parents who may have a child with asthma and other type of things to get a pet, like a dog,
Okay.
because you are increasing the microbial diversity of the home and the child will benefit from it. So go for a nature walk, barefooted, hug a tree, walk in the woods,
Okay.
open your windows, let the breeze pass through.
Husband.
Live in too many air-conditioned environments. That is
Yeah.
why we are sick. Plant a garden, expose yourself to dirt.
Back
Dirt is
to
good.
nature. Back to nature. Back to
Back
nature.
Nature.
Well, how do we, if somebody is listening and we want to contact you, what would you like us to give out? What number?
Okay, so there's a number that's actually a Canadian number. My partner is there. It is 647
Mhm.
765 3479.
Okay.
I might repeat 647 765 3479. And you may go to this email. It's all about the gut two.
Oh,
It's a numeral 2. It's all about the gut 2 at gmail.com.
that's awesome. And that's a very easy one to remember. And we just want to thank you ever so much. I'm so glad I heard you on that show that night. And this is something that we will have to repeat because it's for Christmas coming up. We are telling folks,
The gastronomic feast is here.
right.
It's coming up, folks.
And be
you
careful.
need to
Know
be
that they've
careful.
heard you, right?
Be careful what you eat. This
Mhm.
has been such a wonderful,
You are
wonderful,
what you eat.
informative session that we've had. Unfortunately, it is coming to an end. We need a lot more time when we're discussing these kinds of topics.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with us last week. But Dr. Clive Campbell, I want to say thank you so much for lending us your time and gracing us with your knowledge and your expertise. And I'm certain that our audience, our listening audience, will get a lot of food from this information, and they'll pay more attention
to their
to their food.
Are you gonna have any ham this Christmas?
Yeah, in moderation. Yeah,
You'll have a small piece.
Yeah, in moderation with fiber.
And I'm going to
Okay.
have a lobster. It's already bought. So
I gotta have my
listen.
I gotta have my pepper pot. I gotta have my pepper pot.
But it can last you all week instead of one day,
but
right?
with fiber, right, Dr. Campbell? With fiber.
So if I may say in parting, enjoy yourself. Don't feel like I'm trying to put you into prison. Enjoy yourself. All I'm saying, feed your friends too.
Yes.
And also, everything I've said here today is not Clive Campbell's opinion. It's backed up by 100,000 published scientific papers. Check for yourself.
And on that note, we want to say thank you once again. And folks, this has brought us to the end of our show. And as usual, we'd like to say that good health is central to human happiness and well-being. It contributes significantly to prosperity and wealth and even economic progress. As healthy individuals, we can be more productive and may even live a little bit longer. So until next Sunday, same time, same place, same station. This is Janet and Fred saying, let's stay healthy on Reality Radio 101.
Thank you for listening to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts, Fred and Janet Cox, right here on Reality Radio 101.